Welcome to the Art of Likability, ranked one of the top podcasts in the world. In this podcast, you'll discover how to leverage likability to build stronger relationships, lead more efficiently, close more sales, and keep customers happy while increasing success in your professional and personal life. Let's jump in with your host, Arel Moody.
What's going on, Likability family? Arel Moody here, your host of the Art of Likability podcast, where we teach you incredible strategies to improve every single area of your life. Because when you like your life and you like yourself, you attract like-minded people to create and nurture meaningful relationships. Tell me that ain't a life worth living. Tell me if you have great relationships in your life and things aren't going well, it's not that bad. But if things are going well and you have horrible relationships in your life, it's not as good as it can be. And if things aren't going well and you have horrible relationships, well, that sucks, which is a technical term. So I want to help your life suck less in the enjoyment area, right? I want you to have a life you enjoy and a life that you love. And I generally believe when we have a relationship where we like ourselves, which is the key part, right? Like, likability isn't about everybody in the world being your bestie, right? Like, it's an impossibility. I mean, especially the more and more I get present to the way people respond on the internet. I swear, it's just been in my mind so much lately about how no matter what someone says, like if someone states an opinion, even if it's a respectfully said opinion, a person will get attacked, right? Like, it's insane to me. Like, someone can say, I don't see it this way. I respectfully disagree. Here's what I think. And if it's posted in an online format, people will be like, you're the worst human being in the world. I hope they pour hot lava into your nostrils so it goes directly into your brain. And it's like, first of all, what utensil would hold hot lava? Like, how could I transport the hot lava? Second of all, what kind of, funnel could I use to put inside that person's nostril? I don't think people think out their jabs, their nasty phrases well. Some of them just aren't logistically possible. But that's not what we're about at this podcast. We're about making sure that you know how to build great relationships and have great relationships with the people who matter, starting with yourself, and then the people around you, and then the people at large that you impact. So I want to give you a very important strategy today, specifically because of something that recently happened to me. So I can't go into all the details right now, but because of the podcast and all of you listening, for all of the, incredible people in over 170 countries. I think we're to 176 countries now that tune in, which is, incredible to think. Again, it's global, like the idea of relationships and, wanting to build a better life and being like, what's a global, like, it's not just like, oh, I'm in London, or oh, I'm in America, or oh, I'm in Australia, or oh, I'm in Uzbekistan. It just matters here. It's like, it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's a human experience, right? So anyway, I was on a television show because of the podcast, which is really cool. And when it comes out, I'll definitely for sure let you know. But something interesting happened. I give speaking engagements all the time, over 1,000 professional ones. I do this podcast every single week, and I have the least experience in the medium of television. A lot of my television has been, it's internet-based or news-based. So like national TV as an expert guest, it's just newer to me. It's just something I'm a little bit newer about. So I went on and I just kept racking my brain. I was like, how do I be the best I can be on this show? How do I bring the energy so that I can impact the most people? And I learned a lot of valuable lessons from it. I want to share it with you because it's very important. One of the lessons that I learned is that mentally I put myself into a place that is always the kiss of death place to be in. And that place is when you say things like, I want to look good, or I want to make sure I look good, like that kind of phraseology. I actually believe it's very detrimental. It's actually very bad. The desire to want to look good. The reason why is because when you're focusing on wanting to look good, Your focus is on yourself and not on the people that you're serving. And I was able to have a really great conversation with a friend of mine and also with my wife as well, 2 separate conversations. And it brought me back because I realized I kept trying to say, like, how do I say things in the best way? How do I position this? And the truth is, I wasn't thinking from the right mindset. The mindset was, well, how do I help these viewers of this show have the best possible results because of this time I have here? So one of the first things I want to share with you is whenever you're trying something new, whether it's going for that big job interview, whether it's, going up to someone to start a conversation, whether it's, I don't know, trying to date someone, whatever it is, right? When your mindset is, I want to make sure I look good. How do I make sure I look good? Your focus is in the wrong place. When your focus is on, how do I put this together so that the people who are listening get impacted the most? Then your mindset's in the right place. And what's funny about it is, as a default, as a kind of byproduct or side result of it, you will look good, okay? So if you're like, but Arel, I don't want to look like an idiot. Yeah, well, chances are if you're focused on yourself, you'll look like an idiot. Or I would say the percentages are higher that you'll look like an idiot. If you're focused on serving people and saying, how do I do this at the best level? You'll actually be in a really amazing place. So for example, if you're going on a job interview, instead of saying, how do I make sure I look like the best candidate? You say to yourself, how do I make sure that I demonstrate I can help this company the most, right? If you're going on a date and you try to, instead of saying, how do I impress my date? How do I make them think I'm great? Ask yourself, how do I get to know this person and make them feel great, right? When your mindset is on the service, when your mindset is on that growth of the people who you're impacting, you'll look good. So that was huge. It's honestly huge because I think a lot of people go in and say, how do I say funny things? How do I be witty? It's the wrong mindset. It's how do I serve my audience? Now, if humor is a tool that you need to use so that your audience gets it better and grows, fantastic. So you are using it to help the audience, and then by a byproduct, you look good. So I encourage you to put your focus, your mindset and your focus on not yourself looking good, but how do you serve people at the highest level? So let's say you're the president of a nonprofit or you're sitting on the board and you're running a board. Instead of saying, how do I make people look like I know what I'm talking about? How do I make sure that I'm running this? How do I make sure I look good so that my reign as the president is well received? I want you to say, how do I serve my constituents? How do I serve the board? How do I serve the mission? What's the best possible way I can do that? When your mindset is there, you're good. I would encourage you to look at your life and ask yourself where you're falling short of where you want to fall short. Right? Well, not where you want to fall short. I shouldn't say it like that. Like, where are you falling short where you want to excel more? That's what I wanted to say. Right? I would say that if you're, not getting certain results, it could possibly be just sit and say, am I truly, truly, truly having the majority, if not all, of my focus on the people I'm serving, or is it on me wanting to look good? Now, you gotta be careful of a trap, okay? There is a trap you could fall into, which is the yeah trap, okay? Use that as a hashtag, by the way. Hashtag yeah trap, okay? Yeah. 3 years and the word trap, okay? Long hashtag, whatever. Hit me with a tweet and use the yeah trap. And let me explain what the yeah trap is, right? What happens is I will go and talk to someone and say, yo, it's really important. You got to put your focus on the people that you're serving, not just on looking good. And the response is, yeah, I already know that. I'm going to do that. Or yeah, I totally am going to do it. Yeah, I always do that. Yeah, I'm always in that mindset. Yeah, that's what I do. I don't even have to worry about that. That's a trap. Because as soon as you think that's not a big deal, as soon as you think that's not something where your focus needs to be, you're going to lose. You're going to put yourself in a position to lose. Because we all need to constantly, every day, even multiple times a day, remind ourselves, where are we? You have a meeting coming up and you have to do a presentation. and you really want to nail it and you want it to be a great presentation, you want it to look great, you can't be like, yeah, I know I got to serve them, but how do I say it? How do I do it? How do I do it? The mindset's in the wrong place. It really has to be in, what am I doing to make sure that the people in my meeting will get what I need them to get in the best possible way? I kid you not, for some of you listening, this could be one of the most important pieces of professional advice, business advice, and mindsets you could ever get. Because so many people are so eye-centered and they're so, focused on themselves that they think, well, that's what I need to do. There's tons of people who can break this rule, right? Like there are, right? Like if you look at certain, famous people who are like social media famous or famous for being famous because they post selfies and all that stuff. Like people say, well, what about those people? Well, look, there's always exceptions to rules, right? And honestly, I don't really think it's that much of an exception. It'd be a much longer podcast if I talked into they're actually tapping into a deeper sense and a deeper voice that people want to hold on to that they don't know how to hold on to. So they're actually seeing them as a mouthpiece for themselves. It's a long thing. But anyway, there will always be exceptions. I love when I talk to, and I do a lot of speaking to students, and I hear something like a student says, oh, but, Bill Gates was a college dropout. Is like, yeah, he dropped out of Harvard after starting Microsoft. He didn't drop out of 11th grade intensive reading, right? Like it's an exception, but it's not the exception. It's like when people say, well, this likability thing, man, it's not real. Like Steve Jobs, he didn't care about being likable. That's silly, right? Steve Jobs is how many Steve Jobs are there in the world? Like how many people can create Apple, Pixar, the iPhone, the iPad, Mac, like how many, like there's Renaissance human beings. And there's some people that have the ability. The odds are really high you're not that person. You're not. Don't be offended by that, right? Don't be offended that you're not, an Elon Musk or, Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, right? Don't be offended. I actually think we hurt people when we try to idolize these people who are like considered unicorns. There's always going to be a unicorn. And people say, hey, well, but if I don't see myself that way, how could, aren't I selling myself short? I think it's like saying somebody has to win the lottery. So my savings and retirement strategy is on winning the lottery. Somebody's going to win the lottery. It's just not going to be you, so just get over it. That's not going to be your strategy. It would be better to have a more sound strategy. So I implore you this week, look around at the work that you do, whatever it is, whether it's your personal work, your nonprofit work, the work in which you're interacting with others or others are benefiting from it, you want to do well, whatever it is, right? The work that you're doing. How is your focus on best serving the audience? Not on making the most money yourself, not on looking the most intelligent, looking the smartest, or getting opportunities because of it, because you are using those as mechanisms just solely to help people grow. When your mindset is there, when that's where you're focused, incredible things happen. So send me a text or, it's not a text, send me a tweet or a Facebook message. Use hashtag #YeahYeahYeahTrap and tell me about a time where you tried to explain something really important to someone and they gave it a yeah. Because I think you can relate to that. So I just want to hear what your story is around it. But I also want you to put your emphasis on saying, this week, where is an area that you can consciously look at what you have to present or do and say, how do I best serve the people, the audience that I'm doing with this project, this work? How do I best serve them? And don't put your focus on you looking good, you being the most smart, but just say like, how do I get them the results they need? And by definition, the byproduct of that is you're going to look good and you're going to be great and more opportunities will come your way. But you got to start with having your mindset in the right focus, okay? So get involved with what we're doing. Go to our email list, join it, artoflikability.com. We're going to be doing something really cool. It's almost done. I've been baking this beautiful cake of likability for you. It's going to be this incredible resource. But you're not going to know about it unless you're on the email. Email people are going to hear about it first. So make sure to go to artoflikability.com, sign up, because I got something really cool. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it, okay? Sending you all a lot of love, just, I think about y'all. I really think about how you as my audience can get the most out of this. And, I really want to grow, and, we're starting to get national attention because of what we're doing here. It's really exciting. So good things are coming for you. All right. So remember, this information is not going to help your life at all, but the implementation of this information absolutely impact your life. Transform it into a great place. All right. Sending you all a big old high five. You are awesome. Leave a review on iTunes if you haven't done so yet. Jeez Louise, what's stopping you? Do it. 5 stars. I'm out. Peace.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, The Art of Likability, and reach out with any questions you have. Until next time, remember, my friend, you are awesome.